This short lesson examines the rules for multiplying and dividing sign numbers. Now, division works the same as multiplication, so once I show you the rules for multiplication, division follows those same rules. So the first thing I want you to do is look at these short multiplication computations that I've written down. I want you to write the answers to the first four. Okay, so it should be 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 1 is 2, and 2 times 0 is 0. Now what do you notice about the pattern of the answers for each computation? Is it increasing or decreasing, and by how much? Okay, so what you should have noticed is that as we move down, it keeps decreasing by 2. So even without looking at this problem right here, we should know that the next number is -2, and the next number after that is -4 based on this pattern. And that's actually the pattern that mathematicians used for the rules of multiplying and dividing side numbers. If this is what works for the positive values, then the pattern must follow when we get to the negative numbers. And so that means here this keeps decreasing by 1, and this keeps decreasing by 2. So what happens is 2 times -1 must equal -2, and 2 times -2 must equal -4, or in other words, a positive times a negative must be negative to keep the pattern. Now watch what happens when I flip it, and I'm going to start with -2 times 2, and I'm going to go in this direction. So I'm going to start with the pattern again. -2 times 2 is -4. We know that from here. -2 times 1 we know is -2. Negative times a positive. And here we have 0. And notice what's happening. It's going from -4 to -2, -2 up to 0. So now it's doing what? It's increasing by 2. So this must be 2, and it keeps increasing by 2. So that must be 4. So to complete this pattern, a negative times a negative must equal a positive. And here again, a negative times a negative equals a positive. So our rules for multiplication and division are negative times positive equals negative. Negative times negative equals positive. And of course, a positive times a positive equals a positive number. So have you try one of each here. So let's do -4 times 6. What is the answer to that? Okay, well, a negative times a positive is negative, and 4 times 6 is 24. So you should have gotten -24. Let's try division. Let's do -12 divided by -3. Give that a try. Well, a negative divided by a negative, just like a negative times a negative, is a positive. And 12 divided by 3 is 4, so it is +4. And that concludes this lesson.